We've got new details about HBO's Game of Thrones prequel. All's been quiet on the Westerosi front when it comes to HBO's Game of Thrones and George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. However, after a year and a couple months since the show aired the finale episode of its 8th and final season, it seems like HBO is finally ready to head back to the Seven Kingdoms to work on the show's follow-up. This week, EW got new concrete details about the prequel series, so let's follow that trail of info like Ned figuring out the truth behind Baratheon succession and see what we've learned without losing our heads in the process. When Game of Thrones was coming to a close, it was clear that HBO was not willing to let go of the Lannistarian levels of gold that franchise brought in. They began working to make sure that our screens would have many songs of ice and fire for years to come. According to George R.R. Martin's Not a blog, back in May of last year, HBO gathered 5 different pitches for Game of Thrones sequel and prequel series, all hailing from different writers and producers who thankfully after that last season are not Game of Thrones showrunners Benioff and Weiss. Now, one of those series was a prequel taking place approximately 8,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones, and they actually shot a pilot episode. It starred Naomi Watts and was based on the dreaded Long Night, when winter lasted for an entire generation and the White Walkers swept across the lands. Unfortunately, HBO ultimately passed on that pilot, instead ordering 10 episodes of a different series, House of the Dragon. While Game of Thrones showed us the end of the Targaryen line, House of the Dragon would take place hundreds of years before Game of Thrones when the Targaryen dynasty was in full swing and united the Seven Kingdoms. Now, running House of the Dragon is Ryan Condal, one of the showrunners behind Colony, along with veteran Game of Thrones director Miguel Sapochnik, who you may remember from episodes like Hardhome and Battle of the Bastards. Yeah, this dude knows his way around an epic scale battle. So why House of the Dragon instead of The Long Night? Well, some reports claim it's because House of the Dragon will directly be based on George R.R. Martin's book, Fire and Blood, which outlines the history of House Targaryen. It begins with King Aegon's conquest of Westeros with his 2 sisters and their 3 dragons. So basically, it's a Song of Ice and Fire's version of Tolkien's The Silmarillion. You know, George R.R. Martin, J.R. Tolkien, R.R. You kidding me with these initials? Anyway, as any anime fan who's seen their favorite show outpace the manga can tell you, Game of Thrones was always better when there was a book to follow. Now, according to EW, the series casting process is already underway looking for its main characters. But with that book covering hundreds of years of Westerosi history, it was unclear what the series would focus on, or if it would give us a different time period each season. However, according to Polygon, a not-safe-for-work movie rumor site called Recapped may have narrowed down our search a bit further. They claim the series is looking to cast 2 specific characters, Rhaenyra Targaryen and Alicent Hightower. Without giving away too many spoilers, they're on opposite sides of the Targaryen civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons, which happened about 150 years before the events of Game of Thrones. Now, many fans have assumed that this series would in fact chronicle the Dance of the Dragons, and if this site is to be believed, that could be the confirmation they're looking for. But, that said, the biggest question beyond all of this is, will this new show get fans back on the wagon after the Game of Thrones finale left such a bad taste in their mouths? Can they rekindle that dragon fire, so to speak? Well, who knows, but a Targaryen War of Succession might be the exact right mix of violence and politics that fans have come to know and love. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, because House of the Dragon won't be coming until 2022 at the absolute earliest. In the meantime, tell me, what do you folks think? Do you expect the follow-up series to cover the Dance of the Dragons? Who should be cast in this show? Let's discuss in the comments below, and for all the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, be sure to head to Nerdist.com.